Okay, let me start. Today's topic is it's a very important topic. Okay, um, and I'm speaking on this platform to a bunch of entrepreneurs in the network marketing business, arguably the toughest of all careers, more feared than even selling insurance. And you guys know what it means to step out of your comfort zone. You have faced your fears before, and you do it daily. Let me share my screen. So I'm here to talk about being a master at facing fears. Okay, not just facing one or two fears, but being a master at facing fears, where you are going to want to make facing fears a lifelong practice. And that's what mastery is about, practice. Now, some time ago, I studied George Leonard's book, Mastery. And when we were discussing it on the Motivational Mondays, I referred to a series of summaries done by Jeff Watts. Now, Jeff Watts is an artist and he runs an art school. So here is an extract from part 7, where he talks about surrender as a key to mastery. Okay, hear what he has to say about facing failures.
Surrender is key. So the early stages of a new learning of any language, not excluding visual languages, invokes the spirit of the fool. Now what does that mean, the spirit of the fool? It is inevitable that you will feel clumsy and awkward when you start a new skill building, and this is a good sign. It means it's hard, and it means that you're going out there and you're giving it a shot, right? You're going surfing, you're falling over, you're sucking in a lot of water, you're floundering around looking like a fool and a fish out of water, so to speak, no pun intended. So you will learn to take literal and figurative pratfalls depending on what you are learning. So if you're learning how to snowboard, you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be on your butt 3/4 of the time, sore wrists, sore butt, sore everything, just because you're going to be falling all the time, endlessly, until you learn the moves, you learn the fluidity, you learn to relax, you learn to give into the process. I mean, all those kind of good things. So after all, learning any new significant skill involves certain indignities, right? It makes you look foolish. So as we get a little older, we get embarrassed by looking foolish. We are afraid to go out and look like an idiot. We're afraid to put ourselves in a position where we look weak, or we look, especially as a man. I mean, men have a very hard time with this because, a lot of times you're kind of brought up to be, this don't cry, don't show emotion, don't do this, don't do that. And you're going and learning how to dance, for example. My wife is getting back into dance, and she's a really good dancer, and she wants me to go learn salsa with her or something, or something like that. And it's pretty terrifying, I mean, I'm going to look really stupid, I'm going to go out and I'm going to struggle, and I'm an okay dancer, but it's going to be hard. I'm not good with choreography. I have a dyslexia problem, so I have a hard time seeing things backwards. Like if I'm seeing a move, it's very difficult for me to pick up on the move because I can't really see it properly. So there's certain things that I'm just going to have to be okay with. I'm going to have to go in and look stupid and be okay with it and shirk it off. And if I want to get good at it, I'll have to do the same thing I did with any other mastery course. I'll just have to start on the process of diligent practice, over a long period of time. And I'll be on plateau and all those other good things. So, and then there is the endless repetition, the drudgery, the basic moves practiced over and over. Who but a fool would embark on a musical career in the full knowledge that he or she might end up repeating all the major and minor scales perhaps 100,000 times each? Wow. The essence of boredom is to be found in the obsessive search for novelty. Satisfaction lies in the mindful repetition, the discovery of endless richness in the subtle variations on a familiar theme. That is so nicely put. So the essence of boredom is to be found in the obsessive search for novelty, right? Not substance, novelty. So satisfaction lies in mindful repetition. Okay, so getting in the process, loving that mindful repetition, that is the reward. That is what you're after right there.
Okay, so one of the values of facing fear is you get this immense satisfaction. Okay, but he talks about why people are afraid of facing fears. Now, on the website, I have on Facebook, I have a friend called Hoa Ikit, and he shared just last week about the story of uh, the hare and the tortoise. Now, what's amazing about the story is not that the tortoise won, because he demonstrated the most well-known secret to success, and that's never give up. He was persistent. Okay? Now, what's amazing is that the tortoise even signed up for the race. I mean, he's racing against the hare, and that after sometimes we sign up, but then we don't turn up. But he actually turned up at the start line on race day. He faced the hare in a race, and this one was sharing last week. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Okay, so so you take shots. So he took a shot, but for any chance of the shots to score, you must practice. Okay, if you take shots and you've never practiced, there's just no chance it will go into the basket. Okay, so you imagine the tortoise. Think of him practicing now. Okay, practicing with a heavy shell. It's like a heavy pack when you're climbing. It's so hot because the shell is so thick, and he knows practice requires doing all this, and that's part of the fear, I think. Now, next, I want to share an extract from a podcast, an interview of Chris Bumstead by Jordan Peterson, the well-known Canadian psychologist. Chris Bumstead was 5 times Mr. Olympia. And I had earlier shared an extract from his interview, which I entitled Wearing the White Belt, starting to learn new things. Now, this particular extract is what Jordan Peterson says about profound DNA changes that take place internally, changes that may have implications for your own future generations. And we are in a business of creating future generations.
The universal pathway to overcoming anxiety is to voluntarily face what you're afraid of in graduated doses. It has to be voluntary, can't be accidental. You have to, and that's partly a mindset issue. And that mindset goes very, very deep. It's not just something that you think. When you decide that you're going to confront something voluntarily, you probably change yourself all the way down past the cellular level. You change the way that genes code for proteins. You change the way your cells operate. You change the way the neurons communicate. Like everything about you changes. And what you're doing, what you did, let's say, with public speaking is not only did you develop the skill set that was associated with public speaking, and we can go into that a bit more, but you simultaneously developed the part of you that is capable at the physical and the psychological level of confronting everything that's frightening as such. It's so cool because it means that you can, what you do with people in therapy when you do exposure therapy, which is essentially what you did, let's say, when you decided to arrange for yourself more and more demanding speaking opportunities, is that you don't become less afraid exactly. You become braver and braver and braver. And that's different, right? Because you're always going to be facing challenges that are beyond you to some degree. There's always a reason to be terrified into paralysis, but you can learn to be a more courageous person. And that's not just an attitude. Like I said, it changes you at every single level of your being, really all the way down to the molecular. There's a lot of work done on this now in a field called epigenetics. There's even some possibility, like this is, more on the edge, but there is some possibility. Some of the changes that you can make behaviorally can change you so profoundly genetically that those changes can be transmitted to your children, let's say. So, that's really something. That's about as profound a change as you could possibly imagine.
Wow, fantastic, isn't it? And, let me share 7 benefits facing your fears, written by this mental health advocate called Swanasky Sharma. Okay? Shares 7 benefits of facing your fears. Now, first is it increases your self-confidence. Second, it pushes you out of your comfort zone. We spoke about that. Third is it develops resilience. the practice of bouncing back all the time. Fourth, it improves your mental health, makes you feel good, gives a sense of achievement. Fifth, it helps problem solving. Six, it allows room for new opportunities. And the question is here, it can bring novelty into your life and help you broaden your horizons. Okay? That's how you create new opportunities. And seventh, it provides a sense of accomplishment. It can boost your self-worth and motivate you to tackle other hurdles in your way. It can also serve as a reminder of your resilience and the ability to overcome setbacks, making you believe in yourself once more. Okay, so that's very important because we are continually facing challenges or wanting to grab new opportunities. Okay. So that's 7 values. Now, as a new grandfather, I observe my grandson. Okay, sure, he has fears. Everything is new and strange. Not all is pleasant, like loud noises, hard knocks, sudden shocks. But notwithstanding all that, does he stay still? Does he avoid new experiences? Of course not. His curiosity overcomes his fears. That's why we have to watch these kids. They don't know what they don't know. But this curiosity that overcomes his fears is why he will grow very fast. I think you want me to play this video of his son. Okay. Now, let me share with you some examples of facing fears. Okay. So for me, I started snowboarding lessons in Singapore because we were going to Hokkaido. So I just wanted to maximize the use of my time on the snow, by at least knowing what to do. So that was a big challenge. And this, I want to show you how it was in lesson 1.
Okay, remember, keep your back straight, engage your core to keep yourself upright. Good. Sit down a bit, you'll break a bit. Okay, don't worry. Okay.
Okay, so that was at the end of lesson 1. At the end of 1 hour in the first lesson, I could barely not touch the bar for maybe 5 seconds. Okay, this is lesson 4. Okay, so it's just after 4 hours of training. Okay, so but the fear, the looking stupid is not over, because this one is on the heel side. I've got to learn to do it on the toe side, which is a completely different experience. Next example is Chong. So to my surprise, everyone on Hokkaido chose to go, except me, chose to go on the snowmobile. And when we went to draw our kit, it turned out that Chong had chosen skiing. So it's not because I encouraged him like in SUP. No, on his own he chose skiing because he wanted a challenge. Okay, so that was Chong. And the last example I want to share is a journal reflection by Hui Suan. Okay, so I haven't asked her permission, but I'm sure she won't mind. Okay. So this is what she wrote in her journal, which she just sent to me late last week. Let me read it to you. I choose this stretch. It was obvious I wasn't at the ski lesson at the ski resort because I had not chosen this stretch. I cannot expect others to nudge me into a stretch or to choose it for me. I was obviously 100% responsible for not stretching. I had chosen the path of least resistance, of comfort, and I persuaded myself that I was justified to do that I deserved comfort and ease. I completely overlooked the payoffs of feeling proud of myself, etc. and only looked at the prices, which is being scared, possibly being saw or hurt from falling, etc. I basically caved into my fears. For that, I'm not proud of me. The skiing might have been a huge wow for me, but I missed that chance. There is a big lesson here. I got to learn this, or I'll miss more shots in life and miss the learning and enrichment that comes with the challenge and the scary things. What a wonderful perspective. Okay. So, you want to attract people who grow fast. Okay. You want to attract people who are open to try new things and develop the resilience to bumble about like a beginner until you achieve freedom and fun in the future. When you can face your fears, you really are free. You're free to try anything, and as you get better, it becomes fun. Okay, it becomes fun falling. It becomes fun failing, and you have an incredible future ahead. So I say face your fears, find freshness, find freedom. Okay? Now, our fears come in different forms. So for Jeff, it's not a physical fear. Okay, for someone like Jeff and for many of us, it is going for Amsterdam. Okay, something that we have no idea how we're going to do because we haven't really been working on the business very hard. But that's the kind of it's the same thing. It's a fear. It doesn't have to be any form. If you just go for physical things, you're staying really in your comfort zone. You're not going to get that satisfaction. You're not going to be able to empower other people to face their fears and improve.